Welcome to this week's market drama. We'll begin with the markets. The S&P 500 fell 2.1% this past week. It is still up year to date, almost 14%, 13.8%. Nasdaq fell down even more, 2.6% for the week, but is up 27% year to date. So if we look at the last couple of weeks here, the S&P 500 has fell 5% from its July 26 peak. So there is a pullback, and the question is just, is this a pullback or is this something that's going to lead to a bear market? We'll have to wait and see. If we look at some of the call it market signals here, small caps, the small capitalization stocks are underperforming the broader market during that period, especially in August. And that does signal that there are some concerns about the U.S. economy losing some steam. To counter that point, though, this same week, the same last week, we had July retail sales come in stronger than expected. They actually roughly double consensus estimates. So the consumer is still going out there and shopping, and it's not surprising considering unemployment rate still remains abnormally low. So if the consumer holds up, it's hard to see a recession, especially considering GDP here in the United States is mostly driven by consumption, right? 68% of GDP is consumption. But you got to remember that U.S. stocks don't trade just on the U.S. economy. In China, we did see some alarming news, right? We had Chinese largest property developer, Evergrande Group, filed for Chapter 15 bankruptcy in a U.S. court on Thursday. And this is in the back of weaker than expected economic readings from China earlier in the week, right? So we'll have to keep an eye on the Chinese numbers in the coming months. But the Chinese economy is the second largest economy, right? So if they face a recession, that's going to affect the global economy. And remember, S&P 500 companies, more than 30% of the revenues come from abroad, right? So it could affect earnings here in the United States. So we'll stay tuned to that for that. When it comes to next week, we have flash services PMI data, which will give us here a reading on how the U.S. Services sector is performing. And on Friday, we have Chairman Powell give his introductory speech at Jackson Hole. Jackson Hole, every year, all these central bankers get together. It's kind of like the Coachella of central bankers. And on Friday is when the chairman kind of gives his introductory speech. So we're going to look very closely for any signs of how the central bank's thinking about inflation and the economy moving forward. All right, that's it for this week. Stay tuned for next week.